1:45, the Northern Ireland Labour Party appears to be in disarray today after 8 members of its executive committee resigned last night, including the chair and the vice chair, expressing their concerns about a small minority who, they claim, support other political groups but are secretly organising within Labour. Is some kind of infiltration happening within the Northern Ireland Labour Party? On Good Morning Ulster this morning, Catherine Johnston explained why the members of the executive, and she was one of them, had resigned. She told the programme what she had heard about members of the Labour Party also being members of other political groupings.
That the treasurer, in fact, of the Socialist Party in Northern Ireland was a member of the Labour Party in Northern Ireland. Now, I haven't checked that out yet, but I believe that's true. And there are also, and I printed this off the People Before Profit public Facebook page this morning, just before I came up here at this unearthly hour. And you can see the names I've got next by. Those are administrators of the People Before Profit.
So are you suggesting...
Facebook page. Let me just finish one wee second.
Right.
And they're also members of the Executive Committee of the Labour Party in Northern Ireland. Rules are rules. It's quite clear in Chapter 2 of the Labour Party rules. You can't be a member of two parties. I mean, just you imagine that if the BBC board, if you had a couple of people sitting from UTV on the board and you found out about it, you wouldn't really be too pleased about it. It's just not the way things are done. It's not democratic politics.
That's Catherine Johnson speaking this morning on Good Morning Ulster. Boyd Black is with us. Last night he was elected, I think technically interim, is that right? Interim chair of the Labour Party Northern Ireland group. PKelly's also with us, former chair of the Labour Party Northern Ireland, but still a member of the party. You walked before this latest exit group, didn't you?
Many months ago, yes.
Why did you walk?
Well, to my mind, meetings have become increasingly divided. We'd had a long year the previous year leading up to the second leadership election. And while the party resolutely backs Jeremy Corbyn, there was a lot of division on that. And then with the second Assembly elections that came along this year, there was a real split in the party between people who just wanted to stand in defiance of Labour rules and those that believed in keeping faith in the internal review that's looking into Labour standing in Northern Ireland. And I just felt that the party was so broken between these two conflicting ways forward, and also felt that, I don't want to stamp my beliefs as the sole loudest voice. I mean, I think what happened with Labour Party here is that the old activist moths came to the flame of Labour when the membership exploded. I count myself in this. And what you've found at the upper levels of Labour is that activists of, fringe left parties from the 90s, when I was involved in marches, in my youth and stuff, and all sort of gravitated to Labour and somehow became the loudest voices in the movement. And what I think Labour here has lost is the kind of energy you see in the UK, which is people that are relatively new to politics but are coming, switched on and quite open and broad in their outlook.
All right, well, you're fighting like cats in a sack by the signs of it. Boyd Black, do you accept that there are members of the leadership of the Labour Party in Northern Ireland who are actually very intimately connected to other political parties?
Well, I've been in the leadership of the Labour Party for many years, and I am unaware of this conspiracy that apparently is going on. Now, there are some individuals who... Everybody has a past, as Phil says. And it's not right to say we're fighting like cats and dogs. Philip and I have never had an argument in all the time we've known each other.
We've only gotten started here. Give us a chance.
But no, people... That's the thing about the Labour Party in Northern Ireland. We've now got 3,000 members and supporters. They come from all backgrounds, all religions, all political tendencies. And yes, we have people who, over the last 40 years, given that the Labour Party refuses to allow them to be normal Labour Party members and fight Labour Party election, people have been driven into all sorts of hard left groups and single issue groups.
Well, let's name them. We're talking. Catherine Johnson made reference to the Socialist Workers' Party and People Before Profit, and she was giving evidence, as she suggested, of people who are members of the executive committee, of your executive committee, who are connected to other political parties, including People Before Profit. So today I had a look on Facebook. There's a People Before Profit Belfast group, and it has a list of administrators who run that group. And 2 of those listed amongst the 8 administrators are on your executive committee of the Labour Party.
That could be a historical thing. People can be administrators on a Facebook page.
I haven't finished. I phoned one of them, Barbara Muldoon. She's listed. She's a member of your executive committee, and she told me she left People Before Profit years ago, and she was a member of the Socialist Workers' Party. She left that years ago. Of course, people move from party to party all the time in politics. But she is, and I pointed this out to her, she's still listed as an administrator, and she last posted on the 1st of February of this year.
Well, I can't speak for her, or I can't speak for people.
Do you think that's appropriate for a member of your executive committee
not ideal
to be the administrator of a Facebook group for another political party?
No, I think that's inappropriate, and I wasn't aware of that.
But doesn't this tend to support what Catherine Johnson has alleged, that there is some kind of infiltration going on?
Well, I'm sure out of our 2,000 members, I'm sure there are people from other parties who see the attraction of the Labour Party and who have joined up and who are maybe trying to organise and take positions there. That's inevitable, but that's what Labour politics is all about. Labour politics is about contesting for ideas, contesting for policies, contesting for opinions, and fair dues. People have a past. We welcome the fact that they come into the Labour Party and they put their arguments out there.
We're not talking about a past. We're talking about one of your executive committee members actively an administrator on this group within the period she is on your executive committee. So that's not the past. When I put it to Barbara, she did say that she had forgotten.
Excuse me, that posting would have been before she was on the executive
on the 1st of February.
If it was February.
Yeah.
Yes.
She did say she'd forgotten that she'd been an administrator on it, to be fair to her. Go ahead.
I mean, one of the problems here, and Boyd, interestingly now, is defending people on the left, which after attacking me for over a year as a trot. What I would say...
Boyd would have been seen as a Blairite over the years.
But I am not a
new
Blairite.
Labour man. You supported Andrew Burnham, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Baiko in the past.
No shame in it, Boyd, isn't there?
Yes.
So, no, I think...
all these trots have elected me interim chair.
Which is quite interesting, Boyd, because, I don't know how that election took place. But
is that what they are, these people who elected you?
I don't know. No, they're not. That's what they're being accused of being.
It's interesting that we find ourselves, Jeremy Corbyn-inspired Labour Party with Boyd Black as its chair, who was a member of BICO and Campaign for Equal Citizenship. It's quite an interesting deviation, I think. But one of the problems with Labour, William, for your listeners here, is that it's under politically developed. The structures, the rules don't exist to have a functioning party that looks after its membership but also looks after the integrity of the movement. And, issues that have arisen over the last year are part of that problem, that branches have sprung up because of the increase in members, but there's no there's no democratic...
Yeah, this is getting a bit bureaucratic. I think what our audience wants to know, if you believe, as some clearly do, Phil Kelly, that an infiltration is underway, a kind of internal coup within the Labour Party in Northern Ireland.
I wouldn't buy into that. What I think you have, though,
just can't get on with each other, is that it?
I think the left is being consistent in what it's very, very good at, which is dividing, fracturing, and splitting acrimoniously.
I refer the honourable gentleman to my earlier analogy: cats in a sack.
Well, not quite true. I mean, the reality is we've got all these members piled in. We've got a massive organisation. They're frustrated because the Labour Party is not allowing us fight elections. We've had 2 assembly elections and a general election, and these members came in. They want to promote Labour politics. They're being denied the opportunity, and they're arguing about what they should do as an alternative to running Labour candidates. And that's the root of a lot of the aggro that's been going on.
03030 80 55 55. Daniel Waldron has called into the programme. Daniel, you're treasurer of the Socialist Party, aren't you?
I am indeed, yeah.
Welcome, sir. Go ahead.
Right, Matt. Some of those who resign are definitely members of 2 parties. They're members of both Labour and the Cooperative
Party. That's perfectly legitimate.
Yeah, of course.
The Labour Party has cooperative MPs, of course. It has a long history of connect. But when you joined the Labour Party, Daniel, were you also at the time a member of the Socialist Party?
Oh, absolutely.
So you were a member of both. Are you still a member of the Labour Party, Daniel?
No, I'm not. No.
Why not?
Sorry?
Why not?
Why not? Well, I received a letter recently which informed me that because of my membership of the Socialist Party, I wasn't eligible to be a member. So I've accepted that for the time being.
So is that an expulsion letter?
Yes. But we...
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, Daniel. Keith Gray's there too. Welcome, Keith.
Good afternoon, William. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I was watching a little video of you today where you were explaining why you resigned. You were a member of the executive committee, weren't you?
I was. It was with a heavy heart I resigned, William, but I stand by my decision. And Mr. Black there, who I, by the way, don't recognise him as chair because it wasn't mandated, wasn't put to a members' meeting, so technically, in my eyes, he's not chair of the party.
He's interim chair, isn't he, until the next
I don't care.
general members' meeting?
It is, and clearly I back my very good comrade Catherine Johnson and the former secretary of the party, that they will do people. Yeah, rules are rules. You cannot be affiliated to two parties, except I am a member of the Co-op Party, but that is affiliated to the Labour Party. So
Keith, the previous caller.
Excuse me, let me finish, William.
Okay,
let me
Keith.
finish.
It's all right. I was just going to point out to you that the previous caller, you may not have heard him, Daniel.
Waldron said
he said he was expelled because he was a member of both parties. Doesn't that make the point that you cannot be a member of both parties?
No, you're wrong. I agree. If you listen to my video and stuff, I've categorically stated that because of EC, there are certain people that are members of that have passed with other parties. I can't work with them on the EC.
All right, Keith, thank you very much. I think Boyd wants to respond to some of what you said there. You were shaking your hands at me.
Well, yes. I mean, it's perfectly legitimate for people to be members of the Labour Party, members of the Cooperative Party. They're sister parties.
But can I say, we need to find a way of reconnecting to people because the meetings have declined to small numbers. We need to start talking about real issues to real people.
Okay, we did. Stay with us. I want to take a couple more calls. A lot of people want to talk about this, apparently. People love bureaucracy. We did ask the Labour Party in London for someone to talk to us today. They said no. In fact, this is what they said to us. I'm afraid this won't be something we will be commenting on. Can you blame them? We'll have more after 1.
And with the BBC News, I'm Tina Campbell. Good afternoon. Police patrols are being stepped up across Belfast after violence erupted in nationalist parts of the city last night. Several vehicles, including 2 police Land Rovers, were burnt out or damaged. Ian McDowell reports.
Police said children as young as 12 were involved in the violence that broke out after a nationalist bonfire was dismantled in the markets area by council contractors yesterday. The trouble spread last night and police officers were attacked, with one sustaining minor injuries. 3 cars were burnt out and several others were damaged. A derelict building was set on fire in Divis and a bus was attacked on the Falls Road. This resident described what she saw.
There was bins all down there, big crowds of guys, and that was just going on flames. It's awful. You feel unsafe. Mummy had to bring in her car and neighbours had to bring in her car. It was just mad. Awful. As the clean-up operation continues, police say they're stepping up patrols across the city to curb the trouble and are urging parents to know where their children are and what they're doing.
Belfast councillor Tim Atwood told this programme that getting contractors to remove materials from bonfires is not an easy issue.
We have had contractors in the last 3 years who've actually been willing to lift material, but obviously you have to trawl quite wide.
Getting through 70 to get some to
absolutely, because
it's a sense of how nervous some of them.
Well, obviously, and it's a difficult issue. If some people have been unable to lift wood in loyalist areas, and in the past it's happened in nationalist areas as well, it's not an easy issue.
A device believed to be viable has been thrown through the window of a house in Strabane. It happened just before 9 o'clock last night at Melmount Villas. The device was lifted by one of the people inside the house and thrown into a nearby field. It's now been made safe by Army bomb officers. SDLP MLA Daniel McCrossan condemned the attack.
I'm told a viable device was thrown through a window, landed on an elderly person's bed, and ultimately another person in the house took that device and threw it out to a nearby area. That then resulted in the entire area being cordoned off.
The BBC has learned that in the past fortnight, 3 different letters have been dispatched from various health bodies highlighting the Department of Health's stance on vaginal mesh implants, advising staff how they should deal with complaints. A women's support group says it's the first indication that they are being taken seriously. Our health correspondent Mary-Louise Connolly reports.
The BBC has seen letters from the Health and Social Care Board, the Patient and Client Council and the Permanent Health Secretary, all of which explain the Department of Health's stance on the issue and advice for GPs what to do with patients. Vaginal mesh implants are used to help women with incontinence, often as a result of childbirth. Dr Breed Farrell from the Health Board says it's a positive move.
One thing this issue has taught us is the importance of engaging with women early in the process. If we look back at how things happened in the past, perhaps when women were being offered surgery, they didn't get the amount of information that they should have got at that time.
In June, the BBC revealed how a number of women are starting legal action for claims of medical negligence after they said they've been left physically and mentally scarred after having vaginal mesh implants.
The Executive Committee of the Labour Party in Northern Ireland says it rejects claims made by several of its members who resigned, citing concerns about a vocal and troublesome element within its organisation. 8 party officers, including the chair and vice chair, stepped down. The party says the positions left vacant were filled during a harmonious meeting last night. Well, that was the news this lunchtime. On to sport now with Nigel Ringland.
Northern Ireland meets Spain this evening in the UEFA Women's Under-19 Championship at the National Stadium in Belfast. Scotland and Germany are the other 2 sides in Pool A and are one of 3 matches this afternoon, with Italy facing England and France playing the Netherlands. Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho is ready to fight for Gareth Bale's signature if Real Madrid leave the forward out of tonight's UEFA Super Cup final in Macedonia. Mourinho believes that would indicate that Bale isn't part of Madrid's plans. And in tonight's action at the World Athletics Championships, the highlight is the men's 400 metres final, with the Olympic and defending world champion Wade van Niekerk looking to become the first man in history to break 43 seconds.
Thank you, Nigel. Now finally on to the weather forecast with Angie Phillips.
A few heavy showers around at first this afternoon, especially across the southern counties, but not all parts will get them, and there'll be sunny spells in between, lifting temperatures to 17 or 18 Celsius. Drier, brighter weather will follow from the north later in the afternoon and evening, then dry overnight with patchy low cloud and hill fog in places. Lows around 10 degrees in the towns, perhaps a bit lower in some rural areas.
William Crawley with Talkback on BBC Radio Ulster.
So it's 5 minutes past 1. We are talking about what's going on in the Northern Ireland Labour Party. In some ways, your guess is as good as mine. But all is not well, it would appear, when more than half, I think it is more than half of the Executive Committee, or around about half. What is the figure? What is the figure? How many members were on your Executive Committee?
16, and 7 have resigned.
7 out of 16.
Or 6 have resigned. No, we've 10.
Well, we're
10.
reporting 8. We're reporting
no, but
8
one of them, I told you that Keith Gray was not a member of the executive.
No, he was the disability officer.
Yes.
All right. Well, can we agree a large number of resignations?
Yes.
It's not a good day for any political party. This is Boyd Black who's talking to me, incidentally, and Phil Kelly is still with us. When that happens to a political party, it does produce a news story. Of course it does. And I think it's a week and a half before a general meeting is held with the Northern Ireland Labour Party, so they'll probably have to sort out some of this at their general meeting. But as it stands, they have interim office bearers, including Boyd Black, former chair, now interim chair, back in that role. Phil Kelly's a former chair himself. Everybody's a former chair of the Northern Ireland Labour Party. 030 30 80 55 55. There was some reference earlier to a People Before Profit Facebook group. Fiona Ferguson from PBP is on the line. How are you doing, Fiona?
I'm good, William. How are you?
You want to clarify something about that group?
I do, yeah.
Take it away.
It's not even so much about the group, but just these claims that People Before Profit current members are involved in entryism into the Labour Party of Northern Ireland. And in fact, when the claim sort of came through last night and we heard it last night, it came as quite a surprise to us because it's plainly false. We're not aware of any current member of People Before Profit that is a member of the Labour Party of Northern Ireland. The Facebook group in question was set up, I think, about 10 years ago. And to my knowledge, none of the admins of that group are current members of People Before Profit. In fact, since the group was created, years have passed. Younger members like myself have come around, and I don't have a personal relationship with any of those, nor do most of the younger and current members of People Before Profit. Not to say that we don't wish the Labour Party of Northern Ireland well. I think it's great that left-wing activists are getting involved in groups like PBP, like the Labour Party, and like other left-wing groups right across the country.
All right, that's a helpful, Fiona. That's a helpful clarification, but it does force a couple of questions in my mind about you as a political party. Why would you be allowing non-People Before Profit people to be running a Facebook group with the name of your party on it?
Because at the time when the group was set up, those people were members of People Before Profit. There's not much that we can do to control people who are admins of groups that are under their names. And in fact,
they're under your name. You can control the use of your name.
I wasn't even aware of the group until a BBC news officer alerted me to it today. It might have been something I've seen in the past, but it's not relevant. It has absolutely no swear in.
Will you likely take action to have that group renamed, or are you happy that people who are not members of your party to continue to run a group with your name on it?
I mean, personally, I think that given that none of the people here are admins or members, they probably should change it. But as I say, the level of relevancy that it's had to my life up until this point has been absolutely zero, and I think that has no influence on People Before Profit Belfast or right across the 32 counties of Ireland, so I don't really see that it's that big of an issue.
Fiona, maybe it's gone the other way. Maybe they're Labour Party members trying to infiltrate you.
Wow. Well, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see, William, but I don't think that's the case, considering they very publicly left the party a number of years ago.
Fiona, lovely to talk to you again. Thank you very much. Tony's well. All right, good question, Tony. Thank you very much. Any thoughts on that?
I honestly go back to what I said earlier. I don't think it's a case of conspiracy, because
it's not simply political, this, is it? Because you've got Boyd Black.
I don't know, because
he's not exactly a Corbynista.
Because your last caller was called, sorry, the guy Tony. I mean, I have been described as hard left, as a trot. Most people that know me within the party would know that I've been very pro Corbyn. I've actually debated Boyd at length and on radio and within the party while he was quite sort of anti Jeremy Corbyn. So it's not a left right.
Phil, a couple of people. I don't want to get into some of the. What was it? Somebody just said that this reminds me of the movie I'm All Right, Jack. It's getting a bit that way. I know some of this is a bit bureaucratic.
Yeah.
But are you comfortable with the legitimacy of those who are currently the leaders now of the Labour Party in Northern Ireland? Because a couple of others have used that word illegitimate because they haven't been elected by the general membership.
I mean, I wouldn't think, I can't see how you can carry on business. I mean, I think really within a party you have to go to the members and democratically elect for position. That would be my take on it. This idea of we just decide who is chair, who is secretary. Boyd, when you're talking about representing the membership, as a former BICO member, as somebody who has not been at all supportive of Jeremy Corbyn, doesn't strike me as someone that the membership would endorse as secretary of a.
So you've got to put yourself up for election, have you, Boyd?
Well, we are having a general meeting, and the new positions on the executive will have to be approved by the members of the general meeting.
Voted on,
yes.
Has that been approved or contested?
Well, approved, I think.
Okay.
I think the procedure under our rules, Labour Party rules, are that officers are elected at an AGM, an annual general meeting. So that's there isn't a procedure for electing individual officers at a general meeting.
I see. So you can continue.
Now, maybe that can be.
You could continue on as the chair without bothering with democratic elections.
It's a bit like Henry Ford. You can have any chair as long as it's black.
Big approach to democracy, that boy.
Well, I don't know. We will have to consult with Labour Party headquarters.
There will be people bigger the questions in their mind, wondering, look, if you guys can't organise your own political party and run your own show, why would we elect you to anything in politics? A couple of people have asked me to ask about your interim secretary. Who is your interim secretary?
Chaminda Wirawanda.
Are you comfortable with her Twitter feed?
I haven't checked
some of the material on her Twitter feed.
I haven't checked it recently. I was only in position last night.
Expletives and a lot of bad language all over her Twitter feed. That's the suggestion. Now have a look at this one. She seems to have a problem with powerful white gay men and their egos. Biggest obstacle to LGBTQI rights worldwide. This Peter Tatchell, bloke can F off. You know, that one there. That's recent. Some are asking about whether you're comfortable with a secretary of an organisation having this kind of output. Someone challenged her on Twitter about the SDLP, and she asked the question in response, did you attend a special school to learn such, and then the B word? See that? At the top there?
But I can't.
Got them printed out for you.
I can't answer for these tweets, I'm afraid. I don't. This is all news to me. Quite a long time ago, before she had
that was last year.
With the executive.
That was last year.
April.
The other one was earlier this year, I think.
I'm sure if you troll through lots of people's Twitter feeds, you'll get bad language at different times. That seems to be par for the course these days.
Suggesting to someone that they might have gone to a special school.
Well, I would. Yes, I would have.
You likely to take that up with her?
Well, I don't think she's available for that at the moment.
You any concerns about that?
I do. I mean, as I made reference earlier, general member meetings of the Labour Party become increasingly acrimonious, fraught affairs, which is a great turn-off to people who are inspired by politics to come in and look at ways of changing their lives, inspired by what they see by Corbyn. They've come to meetings in Belfast, Labour Party meetings. It's a very, very different vision of Labour. It's a lot of shouting, a lot of anger, and a lot of tension. And as the anger and tension rises, what happens is the attendance at meetings drops. And this culture, I think, has found its way onto the executive committee, and that's probably what has led to the mass resignation of people. It's tragic in a way, and I made a joke earlier that we're doing what the left does consistently well. We're playing to type,
right.
But it is that it's.
And I think it's fair to say, if anybody who was the chair or secretary of a political party in Northern Ireland was doing that kind of stuff on Twitter, it would be a public story, would it not, boys?
But this was 2016.
That's last year.
Yes, but
that's the danger of Facebook and Twitter, is sometimes the stuff comes back to haunt you, isn't it?